In an era that lacks star-driven films and produces poorly executed CGI, Tom Cruise sticks out like a sore thumb. If you've only seen his movies post-2000, you may wonder why this short king has such a massive following and pull in the film industry. He stars in some really well-known movies helmed by some of Hollywood's most accomplished directors, yet he has very little range for an actor of his popularity. The differences between his characters in Mission Impossible, Jack Reacher, American Made, Edge of Tomorrow, and Top Gun Maverick are minute at best. His characters are also pretty self-indulgent. Each film of his has a scene or two that come off more as an infomercial for Cruise's coolness than an organically badass sequence.
Okay, fine.
Despite this, Cruise is one of cinema's few creators not only pushing the envelope, but keeping the theater financially viable. Cruise hasn't starred in an indie movie. That, along with the ever-inflating median budget for blockbusters, makes most of his movies best appreciated on the biggest screen you can find. This is why the godfather of the blockbuster, Steven Spielberg, told Cruise, "You saved Hollywood's ass," and he wasn't exaggerating. About a year after that statement, both the Writers and Actors Guilds of America have gone on strike at the same time for the first time in over 60 years. The success of Top Gun Maverick actually may have helped put off the inevitable. With issues like streaming options hurting box office numbers, creators not getting residuals from popular films and TV shows, studios' over-reliance on CGI that looks half-finished, greenlighting $300 million films that rely solely on nostalgia views, and most frightening of them all, the inevitable implementation of AI tech in the creative process. Cruise is clearly aware of this, to such a degree, Dead Reckoning Part 1 initially planned on de-aging Cruise for flashbacks, but decided against it since de-aging can be hit or miss. The villain for this movie is a super on-the-nose representation of the world's fears about AI, an omniscient entity that will eventually control, manipulate, and replace us. One that can augment reality to such a degree that basically nothing can be trusted. It's a very clever allegory for not only the state of Hollywood, but for the state of consumerism as we know it. While one could dislike Cruise for a plethora of reasons, his importance to Hollywood is undeniable. With films that are mostly shot on location containing risky, death-defying stunts, Cruise's constant push for progress in the industry is one of the reasons I refer to him as Hollywood's heartbeat. As the WGA and SAG-AFTRA members halt productions and push a ton of projects back, his blockbuster box office success may help get things back on track. The franchise that has grossed billions and has the most consistent quality for one of its size may not exist if Cruise didn't push for a feature film adaptation. Paramount sat on the film rights for years and didn't have plans to use them until Cruise founded Cruise Wagner Productions. It was an extremely profitable production company that would gross nearly $3 billion between the years 1996 and 2008. Even without said production company, Cruise is an executive producer with an enormous amount of sway. He recently confirmed he's developing a film that will come out after Dead Reckoning Part 2 with Edge of Tomorrow director Doug Liman and NASA. Yes, that NASA. He'll attempt to be the first person to shoot a movie in space. Reports mentioned there would be shots planned for Cruise at the International Space Station. That man must have watched Gravity on a treadmill like, I could top that. While I dislike his periodic narcissism, his passion to push cinemas forward should not only be respected, but praised. Cruise really could take the easy way out and shoot on a soundstage with a green screen. The film would likely still be profitable. The fact that he still goes the extra mile at the age of 61 sets an example that I hope others with sway in the industry would realize. Audiences are tired of complacency in Hollywood. If you're going to reboot a franchise or make a sequel decades later, if the film lacks originality or solely relies on nostalgia, it won't be successful. Tom seems to be keenly aware of this by the look of his IMDb. Although the use of nostalgia is inherent in every film that's a remake or a sequel to a film that came out decades prior, Cruise attempts to do something new within the confines of those stories. Every Mission Impossible movie follows the same general structure with previously established tropes, but every sequel has its own unique flavor and expertly plays with audience expectations. Roger Ebert, the GOAT of movie critics, even had a formula he called the Tom Cruise picture. It contained 9 ingredients. Number 1, the Cruise character. Young, naive, naturally talented person with a rambunctious spirit. Number 2, the mentor. A wise older character who's made similar mistakes. Number 3, the superior woman. Usually older or more mature, typically meant to guide his spirit. Number 4, the craft. The gift the naturally talented character has to hone. Number 5, the arena. The place he's inevitably tested. Number 6, the arcana. Specialized and film-specific knowledge we know thoroughly.
You're gonna tell me where the rabbit's foot is, or she dies.
Jules, it's gonna be okay.
Number 7, the trail. Is a journey where you see all the important places masters of a craft go to test one another. Number 8, the proto-enemy. Is someone who starts off as an antagonist, but after a while develop into friends, likely helping Cruise in some capacity. Number 9, the eventual enemy. The real bad guy who reveals himself in the last act, testing Cruise's competence along with some previously mentioned ingredients. For something made in 1990, it's scary how accurate Ebert's formula is today. It's crazy to think 33 years later, the same formula is still keeping Cruise's pockets heavy, if not for the terrible luck of releasing only a week before the behemoths known as Oppenheimer and Barbie, Dead Reckoning Part 1 would be a near billion-dollar blockbuster. While I thought Fallout was better, a profitable sequel with the given circumstances is an absolute win. Frankly, anytime Cruise finishes a shoot with all limbs still intact, it's a feat worth celebrating. Dude is a senior citizen still running like he's trying to make Jamaica's 4x100 team. Side note, if audiences can buy into Tom Cruise running full speed at his age, I think DC and Warner Brothers could have found a way to make a character whose power is super speed not look like a complete doofus when running, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm asking for too much. Cruise has given Hollywood the blueprint to get back on its feet once the strike ends. Shoot on location, use CGI sparingly, don't rely too much on nostalgia, and focus on injecting stories with fresh ideas and conflict-driven character development. With Tom's worst films still somehow making a profit, I hope film executives look at his success and take note. After we rose from the ashes of the last writer's strike, it started a golden era of TV. We got Breaking Bad, Mad Men, and The Walking Dead, and much, much more. Many don't remember the initial hit we took due to the strike. The writers themselves protested for 4 months before reaching an agreement, costing the Los Angeles economy an estimated $1.5 billion. Imagine what a prolonged period of a simultaneous actor-writer strike could do. Some of the first reports since the strike started paint Cruise as a vocal participant. He spoke his concerns about AI and advocated for more support of stunt performers. Tom low-key probably thinks he's Ethan Hunt. Can you imagine him trying to infiltrate the AMPTP building, solely so he can end the strike so he can go to space. No matter what happens, we're in the midst of a landmark moment in history. Cruise made bank before the last strike, and he'll be making bank after the current one. But if you take away the money, the accolades, and even the Church of Scientology, Cruise's passion for making genuinely entertaining movies deserves its recognition. A lot of actors get into his position and hit autopilot. And while he's basically in a cult, pretty hesitant to take risks, and loves to stay in his lane, Tom knows it's hard to beat a smooth ride on cruise control. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate all the support I can get. I'll see you guys next time. This is Just Alex Films. Adios.